Right now, there are really only two cards in the running for the best premium travel and lifestyle card, the Amex Platinum and Chase Sapphire Reserve. Both recently went through some massive refreshes where they had over $1,000 worth of credits and benefits added to each of them, and also had their annual fees raised to almost $1,000 each as well. So today, to cut through all of the noise, I'm going to be putting these two cards head to head from the perspective of an everyday credit card user. That way you can tell which one of these is the better option for you, if either. Before we dive into the breakdown itself, I want to take some time to discuss who these cards are actually designed for, because newsflash, it's probably not you. There seems to be a big misconception in the credit card community right now that these cards are great for anybody. Anybody can get positive value from them with the right strategies. But if you believe that, then you are probably the bank's favorite customer. You're the one forcing your lifestyle and your spend to fit a $795 or $895 credit card, and the only real winner in that scenario is the bank. As a general outline, if you're only traveling once or twice a year domestically, these cards are not for you. If you live way outside of a major city where these services that these cards are attached to are provided, these cards are not for you. If you value simplicity and you hate coupon book style benefits, then again, these cards are not for you. They are built for the top tier of travelers and arguably the top tier income earners as well, who travel very often, live in big metro areas, and don't mind juggling a complicated set of benefits. After my videos on the Chase Sapphire Reserve refresh, as well as just the sad state of travel credit cards in 2025, I thought that this point was kind of well understood. But the second that Amex refreshed the Platinum card, all of that seemed to just go out of the window. A lot of the same folks who were just absolutely trashing Chase for the changes they made to the Chase Sapphire Reserve were the first ones to defend Amex and the Platinum card, who did practically the exact same thing. Yes, each of these cards have their own competitive advantages, and I do believe that Amex did a better job with their refresh than Chase did, but at the core, these cards are practically the same. They are very high annual fee lifestyle credit cards with monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual benefits that have started to feel like a part-time job to manage. If you remember one thing from this video, just let it be this. If you want to get these cards, understand that what you are doing by paying an annual fee is prepaying for those benefits that you eventually will use, likely because you already are using them and do not have to change your lifestyle at all to fit them. In other words, if you wouldn't pay for the benefits these cards offer without having the cards themselves, then you are just wasting money, and a lot of money at that. It doesn't matter what I calculate or what other content creators calculate. All that matters is your specific lifestyle, your specific travel habits, and the only person that knows how to be honest with themselves about it is you. Now that I can move forward in good conscience here, let's go ahead and line up these two cards based on their annual fees, welcome offers, earning categories, credits, and benefits, and see which card ends up with the lowest effective annual fee for the average credit card user who does fit the target demographic of these cards. And for those curious, at the very end, I will also be calculating my personal effective annual fees to see if the Amex Platinum could effectively replace my Chase Sapphire Reserve now. First up, annual fees. The Amex Platinum now sits at $895 per year, making it the most expensive consumer card on the market, and the Chase Sapphire Reserve is not far behind at $795. Both of these cards have authorized user fees of $195, so at first glance, it seems like the Chase Sapphire Reserve is the better option because it's cheaper, right? Well, of course, no, it's not that simple, or I wouldn't be making this video at all. What's important to understand here, though, is that either way, you're paying close to $1,000 a year for a credit card, which I don't want to just glaze over. I feel like a lot of people are doing that right now, but paying that much money for a single annual fee on a credit card is outrageous. That's why most people should not be doing that. I would say that $95 to $150 annual fee range is really the sweet spot where you can get the most value from cards with very little cost. But again, I'm assuming that you considering one of these cards means that you do fit their target demographic. Next up, welcome offers. You can obviously squeeze a ton of value out of these cards in year one because of these sign-up bonuses, but this video is focused on the long-term value of these cards, so these numbers won't be going into any final calculations. Regardless, here's where things stand right now. The Amex Platinum has an offer of up to 175,000 points for $8,000 worth of spend in 6 months, which is about a 22% return on spend at a 1 cent per point valuation. The base offer for this card is only 80,000 points, but you should definitely never take that. You always want to get an elevated offer on Amex's cards with their once-in-a-lifetime welcome offer rules. Chase actually also recently added a very similar type of rule to the Sapphire cards too, and their base offer on the Sapphire Reserve right now is 125,000 points for $6,000 worth of spend in 3 months, about a 21% return on spend for that offer. This is the standard offer, but it technically could be raised a lot higher than this in the future. We just haven't had enough time to really see that yet. Bottom line, the returns from the welcome offers basically cancel each other out. So either way, you're looking at very respectable value, even at just 1 cent per point. But if you're getting these cards, I would assume you're transferring your points out to their transfer partners to get at least double that. Calculating the return on spend for these offers is one thing, but ensuring that you actually hit the minimum spend required to get that value in your pocket is way more important. The problem is lenders rarely give you an easy way to track your status towards that minimum spending requirement. And that's where my credit card management app of choice comes into play, that being Max Rewards. Max Rewards is a tool that allows you to track things like your total point balances, card balances, bill due dates, and more, all in one convenient interface, even if your cards come from a multitude of lenders. They have plenty of free features on their app, like the home screen that shows all of that information I just mentioned, but I actually personally pay for Max Rewards Gold, not only to add these sign-up bonus trackers to my cards, but also because they automatically activate all of my quarterly rotating categories for me, as well as all of my credit card offers for me, which is a big time saver. Plus, with high annual fee cards like the two we're talking about today, I can use their benefits tracker to ensure that I'm putting all of those benefits and credits to use and see whether or not I should be keeping or canceling those cards in years to come. If you want to stop leaving money on the table and get a better handle of your credit card setup, I would highly recommend you check out Max Rewards. And if you decide to do so, I'd really appreciate if you downloaded it through the link in my description and entered the promo code Spencer when you signed up to lock in a 1-month discount off of your annual Max Rewards Gold subscription if you ever do decide to upgrade. Thank you to Max Rewards for sponsoring this video. As always, let's jump back into the content. Now let's talk about earning categories. The Amex Platinum will give you 5x back on flights booked directly or through Amex's travel portal, 5x on hotels booked through Amex's travel portal, and 1x on everything else, while the Sapphire Reserve gives you 8x on any Chase travel purchases, as well as 4x on flights or hotels booked directly with those companies, 3x on dining worldwide, and 1x on everything else. Even though both of these cards are technically lifestyle cards now, as we'll see with the credits and benefits, their earning categories are pretty lackluster in that regard, especially the Platinum. Outside of those flights or Amex travel portal purchases, you're stuck getting 1x back on everything, and that's really bad. You don't want to be doing that consistently. And the Chase Sapphire Reserve is not a ton better by any means, but at least you do get a slight boost through the travel portal. You get that 4x back with hotels directly, which Amex doesn't offer, and you get the 3x back on dining. So for a one and done card, it's better than the Platinum, but still not perfect. At the end of the day, neither of these cards really should be your everyday spender though. They are mainly here to be used for their credits and benefits. Speaking of, this is going to be the beefiest section of the video here. And honestly, even just collecting all of the details for this section was exhausting, and that pales in comparison to actually using the benefits. These days, you really do need like a detailed spreadsheet to track all of them. And yes, I am still working on a really nice spreadsheet for these types of purposes, which you can get on the waitlist for by joining the newsletter through the link in the description. Quick note, I am going to be leaving out some of the smaller perks for the sake of time, because this is already going to take a long time to get through. And with how many benefits there are on each of these cards, it's possible that I miss one or two, but I'm going to do my best to get through all of them in the most efficient way possible. Starting with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it has a $500 edit credit, which is broken up into two $250 semi-annual chunks and has a minimum requirement of a 2-night stay. You have added edit collection perks as well, like a $100 property credit, room upgrades, daily breakfast, and more. And I will say that the edit collection is much more limited than the Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts collection we'll talk about later. And they have about 1,300 properties compared to 3,000 plus, but you will still find enough options in major cities. Also, starting January 1st of 2026, you will no longer be locked into only getting to use one credit in the first 6 months and one credit in the second 6 months of the year. They're going to let you use both at any time, even back to back, and that is in large part due to the Platinum refresh. On top of that, they also quietly added a new $250 hotel credit when booked through Chase Travel for 2026 alone, with the same 2-night minimum, and that was right after the Platinum was refreshed, so obviously Chase is on their heels a bit. Next is the $300 annual travel credit, which you can use for any travel purchases put on this card. A $300 dining credit split into $150 chunks semi-annually, and this only works for Sapphire exclusive tables, which from my research is only a list of about 400 properties, which is not extensive at all, but again, in big cities, you shouldn't have an issue. There's a $300 StubHub credit, which is again broken up into $150 semi-annually and can be used for StubHub purchases or via GoGo purchases. Not sure if that's how you say that, but seems right. It has $300 worth of DoorDash credits on it, but it is comical how they broke this up. You get one $5 restaurant DoorDash credit per month and two $10 non-restaurant orders per month as well. It's really annoying how they did this, to be honest, but I found I can use it for a couple of grocery purchases a month, and that does actually make it pretty easy to get some value back from. It comes with a $120 DoorDash Dash Pass subscription, and this is a one-time activation thing that is good for at least 12 months. Their terms say it might be a little bit longer, but still, I would assume just a one-time thing. Speaking of one-time activations, you get up to $250 worth of credits for Apple Music and Apple TV Plus. Then you have $120 worth of global entry, TSA PreCheck, or Nexus fee credits every 4 to 4.5 years. And the Platinum actually has the same credit, but it does not have Nexus attached to it. So if you needed that for some reason, I guess the Sapphire Reserve is better for you, but just for that specific credit, of course. There are $120 worth of Lyft credits to be had at a $10 per month cadence, on top of 5x back on Lyft rides. So that's another earning category for you. Similarly, there's $120 worth of Peloton credits. That's at $10 per month, plus 10x back on any Peloton purchases over $150. So that's super niche and practically worthless, but it's there. Summing all of that together, though, you would get a total value of $2,580 from all of those credits. But you have to keep in mind that obviously you are not going to be using all of those credits. So whenever we get to the effective annual fee section, I'll be adjusting this to get some more concrete numbers. That was just the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now we have to move to the Platinum card. First, it has $600 worth of hotel credits, and this is broken up semi-annually in $300 chunks for select hotel bookings done through Amex Travel. You can use Amex's Fine Hotels and Resorts collection for this, which only has a one-night minimum stay, and it comes with the same perks that the Edit collection does, like the $100 property credit, room upgrades, free breakfast, and more. Or you could use the hotel collection, which has a 2-night minimum stay, so it's kind of just up to your specific trip. They recently added $400 worth of Resi credits broken up into $100 per quarter. And this works at any Resi restaurant worldwide, which there are more than 10,000 of compared to the Sapphire Reserve tables list of like 400. The $300 digital entertainment credit is broken up into $25 per month and is eligible for Disney Plus, a Disney Plus bundle, ESPN Plus, Hulu, the New York Times, Paramount Plus, Peacock, the Wall Street Journal, YouTube Premium, and YouTube TV. I actually pay for both Peacock and YouTube Premium, but I would say that if y'all don't have YouTube Premium yet, you should highly consider it. I haven't watched ads in a couple of years and it's been huge. Next is the $300 worth of Lululemon credits given to you at $75 per quarter. Then you have the $300 Equinox credit, which is annual, a $200 airline incidental fee credit, which is also annual and technically can only be used on incidental fees like checked bag fees, lounge day passes, change fees for your flights, etc., and can only be used with a specific airline that you choose beforehand. But there are plenty of data points out there suggesting that you could use this for actual just flight tickets, but your mileage may vary. Then there's a $209 Clear Plus credit that is given to you annually, and this can be a very big deal for somebody that has a very busy airport that they fly out of frequently. $200 worth of Uber cash credits broken up into $15 per month increments, aside from $20 per month that you get in December. A $120 Uber One credit that does recur every single year, which is much better than like the Lyft Pink membership that Chase gave you for just 1 year alone. That's gone now on the Reserve, but regardless, this is better because you get it every single year. They've recently added a $200 Aura Ring credit annually, which I don't know why you would ever need more than one Aura Ring, I guess unless you had like a spouse or something, but I guess, yeah, it's nice that you have the ability to get it more than once. $155 worth of Walmart Plus credits, and that is going to be at $12.95 plus tax per month. Walmart Plus also includes things like ad-supported Paramount Plus or Peacock, so if you're interested in those, you have an option to get that with Walmart Plus. There's also gas discounts and stuff like that that I use through my Amex Business Gold, so it's a decent perk. A similar $120 global entry or TSA PreCheck credit every 4 to 4.5 years. Again, no Nexus fee credit though. $100 towards Saks Fifth Avenue, broken up into $50 per 6 months. And all of that together is a total value of $3,104. You still with me now? Good, because we are not done. I can take a breather here for a second though, maybe drink some water. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, these credits are just insane and the benefits are more of the same story. The difference between credits and benefits in my eyes are that the credits have, a dollar amount associated with them while the benefits are a little bit less tangible. But those benefits can be a complete game changer depending on, again, how you travel and your lifestyle. So this is definitely important to pay attention to. Going back to the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it will give you airport lounge access, specifically to the Chase Sapphire lounges, a Priority Pass Select membership with 2 guests as well, and Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges with 1 guest. It also gives you IHG Platinum status, access to the Edit collection, their points boost feature through the travel portal, which gives you up to 2 cents per point on very specific, really higher class redemptions basically. And in my opinion, this was a really bad replacement of the flat 1.5x boost you used to get on the Chase Sapphire Reserve for any booking through their portal, but I guess it's better than the Amex Platinum since the Platinum has no boost at all through the portal. So take what we can get. You get access to the Reserve Travel Designers, which is basically a concierge that can help you build an itinerary and stuff like that. It has no foreign transaction fees, travel protections, and purchase coverages. If you spend $75,000 or more in a calendar year, you get access to another list of benefits that I'll show on screen here, and more. Then with the Amex Platinum, it's basically mirrored in a lot of ways, with lounge access being the main benefit through their American Express Global Lounge Collection. That gets you into Centurion lounges with no guests, unfortunately. Gives you 10 Delta Sky Club visits per year, a Priority Pass Select membership with one guest, and a few more partner lounges as well with their own guest policies. Other than that, you get broad Hilton and Marriott Gold status, Leaders Club Sterling status, access to the Fine Hotels and Resorts collection, car rental benefits with Hertz, Avis, and National, no foreign transaction fees, travel protections and purchase coverages, and again, you get extra benefits when paying $75,000 or more on this card in a year, on top of even more. Comparing the two side by side, I would say that they're very competitive, but the Platinum gives you broader benefits while the Chase Sapphire Reserve is a bit more niche. With the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you get very strong benefits in specific areas. Like for example, you get that Chase Sapphire Lounge access with up to 2 guests, but there are just so few Chase Sapphire Lounges that it's, kind of just depends on where you're flying the most. And you also get that IHG Platinum status, which is great with that one brand. But on the flip side, you have Amex with the broader lounge collection, even though you have worse guest policies, and mid-tier status with 2 different hotel chains that covers you at a lot more properties. At the end of the day, which list of benefits is better completely depends on you. So after all of those perks and credits, the real question is, what does it cost you? Let's break down the effective annual fee for each card, see which one gives more value to the average credit card user that fits this target demographic, and then I'll walk you through my own math to show you whether or not I will personally make the switch to the Platinum. We'll go ahead and kick it off with the Reserve, and instead of me just relisting off all of the credits again, I'm going to show some graphics on screen that will paint the picture better, and I'll split each of the credits into 4 different categories: the no-brainer category, the questionable category, the one-time use category, and the worthless category. The no-brainer credits are going to be ones that I assume you're using no matter what, really, because if your travel habits do fit these cards, then this is like the bare minimum, I would say, that you should be getting value from. The questionable ones depend very heavily on your lifestyle. So whenever we come into the actual effective annual fee calculation, I'm going to be taking them at half value for simplicity, but obviously you're going to have to run the math on your own. The one-time use credits are exactly that, credits that can only be given to you one time, so they don't really play into the long-term value of these cards. And the worthless credits are self-explanatory. They're ones that I don't think 99% of people would ever touch, so they're just not going to be added to the tally. The Sapphire Reserve has 5 no-brainer credits, I would say, on them that definitely lean towards that travel side. There are 2 questionable credits that I think most people can get at least some value from, but again, taking that half valuation is probably the right move. The one-time use credits are pretty extensive with the Sapphire Reserve, and there are 3 of them in my eyes, and those won't be taken into the final effective annual fee calculation for that purpose. And there is one worthless credit, the Peloton credit, since that's just something that I don't think anybody's really going to use. For the Platinum, the same things prevail here. The travel perks are the no-brainers because, if you're not traveling enough to use these very basic travel credits on this card, then you shouldn't have it in the first place. The questionable ones lean more towards lifestyle, like the Lululemon credit, which is great value for some people, completely worthless to others. Well, at least if they're being honest with themselves. And the big difference between the Amex Platinum and the Sapphire Reserve is that there's really only one-time use credit in my eyes, and that is the Aura Ring credit. Yes, I know it's technically an annual credit, but like I mentioned earlier, I just don't see why you'd be using $200 per year on Aura Rings, unless you want to be like Thanos or something and just get all of them. I don't know, but I'm not going to be taking that value through to the final calculation. And then there's one worthless credit on this one too, which is the Equinox credit. I know some people do use this, but again, 99% of people probably don't, so I'm not going to carry that through either. Totaling everything together and subtracting out the annual fees for each card respectively, our final effective annual fees come out to negative $745 for the Chase Sapphire Reserve and negative $1,432 for the Amex Platinum. And both of those are before considering the less tangible benefits that we covered earlier. So this is massive value for 2 very high annual fee cards. And that's why we can't just take the annual fees at face value as the cost of these cards. Honestly, the result here doesn't surprise me. I do think that Amex did a better job with the Platinum Card Refresh by only raising the annual fee a couple $100, but adding way more value than the Sapphire Reserve did. And these numbers back that up. But here's the key. Your research does not stop now. You have to run these calculations based on your lifestyle. You cannot just watch my video and say, oh, great, the Platinum card is 2 times better than the Sapphire Reserve. That's what the effective annual fee says, right? No, that's dumb. That's just not how this thing works. The credit card game is extremely personal. Like, for example, you might not use all of the credits that I took value from on the Amex Platinum, or maybe you love the points boost feature on the Chase Sapphire Reserve and you count that at a $1,000 plus per year valuation. Then the Sapphire Reserve makes much more sense than the Platinum. So I just can't cover everybody's situation in one video, but what I can do is cover my own. Here is my breakdown for each card on screen now. As you can see, my personal effective annual fees are negative $890 for the Chase Sapphire Reserve and negative $925 for the Amex Platinum. That's extremely close, closer than I expected, honestly. When I first started making this video, I thought that the Amex Platinum was going to blow the Sapphire Reserve out of the water and that I might need to rethink my strategy and switch all of my travel habits to that card instead. But whenever I was brutally honest with myself, the numbers didn't lie. I could have easily added more value to the Platinum by saying, sure, of course I can spend $300 at Lululemon every year. Like, that's easy. Their stuff's expensive as heck. Or yeah, of course I'd sign up for Clear Plus and Uber One since I get it for free, but that would be lying to myself. I don't pay for those things right now before having the card, so I cannot take that into my effective annual fee calculation, or else I will end up like the person I talked about in the beginning of this, who is the bank's favorite customer, justifying credits that they throw at you, they market at you to make you feel like you're getting value, even though you're actually wasting it in the long run. Your default mode of thinking with these cards should be that they are not made for you. You should not be trying to scrape back or squeeze value out of these cards to make them make sense. Just because Chase and Amex advertise these cards at giving you $2,700 to $3,500 plus worth of value respectively does not mean that you should trust that. In all honesty, you should do the opposite of it. You should be super skeptical. But for me personally, I will be strongly considering adding the Platinum card to my setup at some point because the numbers, again, don't lie. But I definitely need my travel to ramp up a bit more before I do that, and it's just not a card I desperately need at the moment. On paper, the Platinum card is the more valuable credit card between the two. However, for me, my lifestyle lines more up with the intangibles of the Sapphire Reserve than it does the Platinum, at least right now. And that's really all that matters at the end of the day. I have to admit though, I'm a lot less bullish on Chase as a whole right now than I have been in the past. And if you want to see how I've changed my strategy with them recently, go ahead and click into this video next. As always, Odin and I both really appreciate you watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time.